when you're on the path and when you're trying to get things done, if you don't let things distract you, and a lot of times some requests from persons really are distractions. So before you even answer, right, the true lesson, as they said in this dialogue, is before you answer, give consideration to what is being asked of you. If you think it aligns with where you're going or things that you're doing, and you can...
Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. Welcome to Born to Achieve podcast, the show that inspires and motivates you to unlock your full potential and achieve your goals. With your host, Warren Andrew Pinder. Let's get started on this week's episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve.
I am born to achieve, and so are you. On this episode, let's talk about learning to say no and how it can help you achieve your goals and dreams. Learning to say no is a skill in both personal and professional life. Many people struggle with saying no because they want to be helpful. They try to avoid conflicts or fear disappointment from others. However, setting boundaries and saying no when necessary is crucial for your well-being and for effectiveness in what you do. Take a moment, right? Just take a moment. Let's really do this, because this is something that I was told that, Andrew, you got to learn to say no. You can't be everything to everyone, please everyone, and be effective at what you're trying to do. Because, you hear the saying, nice guys come last. That you'll miss out on so much, you'll lose so much because you extending yourself. A lot of times by simply saying no could avoid you trying to scrabble to get things done, which wasn't really necessary when someone else could have taken up and do it. But now you committed yourself because you said yes. But this is what having to learn to say no is not going to hurt you. It can only help you. And in doing so, it zeroes in on your priorities, because before you can say no, you need to know what's most important to you. You have to make sure, is it aligned with your values and goals and priorities, so that you can make decisions that align, that will help you to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So that's the first thing. We want to make sure that what we are signing up to do is going to help us. It's aligned with what we believe in. It's aligned with where we're trying to go, and aligned with what we're trying to accomplish. Saying yes because you're a nice guy and because you're trying to help everyone may take you off course from what you're trying to do. And sometimes you get a bad name because you're agreeing to do something, and out of the kindness of your heart, you are really interested in helping, but because it may not happen at another person's time, what you are signing up for may be the priority of someone else, and it's very important to them. But because you're just trying to help and you are rendering assistance, it's not really that important as the person that's asking can give you a bad name. It can cause bad feelings between, colleagues, friends, family, because you didn't live up to your bargain by saying yes. So saying no, learning to say it at the right time or use it, it's just a part of effective communication. You being honest with yourself. You understanding that maybe I can do it, but please, I will try. Or just simply say, no, I can't. When we get this, it's like practicing self-awareness, because you have to pay attention to your feelings and instincts. If something doesn't feel right or would extend it, or extending yourself. Come on, people. It's okay. It's okay to say no. This I'm speaking of is dear to me because I'm the type who have literally, I would overextend myself to do whatever it is to try and help someone. But the reality is you can't. As much as you would want to, you can't. And it's not that you're doing it to try and some persons may do it to try and, feel a part, or that person's look up to you in some way or somehow. But no, you genuinely try to help persons, but they could be to your detriment. it isn't hard, or I'm not saying that you should not consider the request that a person is asking of you, but you must take a moment to think about it before you say yes. The request and its impact on your time, energy, and resources, you got to think about those things. You know, to ask yourself if it aligns with your priority, as I said earlier. And if you genuinely have the time, the capacity to fulfill the request. This is what I'm speaking about, learning to say no. Consideration must be given. You know, being assertive and respectful when you have to say no. You can do it politely and assertively. You don't need to provide lengthy explanations or excuses. A simple "I'm sorry, but I can't commit to that right now" is sufficient. And believe me, it will save you so much time. You don't have to be ducking and dodging. It's just being polite and truthful. A person could appreciate that. If you can fulfill a request, you know, by someone asking you to do something, consider offering alternatives or compromises. For example, like suggest a different time, you know, or recommend someone that may be able to assist or who have the resources that may be able to help the person in need. But you need to communicate your boundaries to those around you. When people understand your limitations, they are more likely to respect your decisions, you know. So a lot of persons, they can test you. They'll test you until you say no. And ultimately, all you're doing is just making yourself look bad by trying to please others. They don't care. They don't have nothing to lose. They're asking for you to do something that you can't fulfill in the time that they're asking you to do it, or to fulfill their expectations of what you have signed up to do. And you got all the stress to try and get it done. And you really didn't have to do it. If you were just frank and outright saying not at this time, or I recommend someone to do that, I think it's a real lesson to be learned in this dialogue, because a lot of people lose a lot of respect, friends, time, energy, because they didn't say no. And then understanding your priorities helps you to allocate your time and energy more effective, making it easy to say no to less important, or distracted commitments.
Thank you for joining today's podcast. We'll be right back.
Achieve Man, written by Warren Andrew Pinder and Dominique Bradford. This book passionately focuses on the challenges women have been made to go through and how to overcome them. In some cultures, being a woman disadvantages the girl child. This book carefully exposes the hurdles you might face. This masterpiece is the ultimate self-help guide for women. It reveals your true purpose and identity. Get your copy today. Available from Amazon.
We now return to today's podcast.
When you're on the path and when you're trying to get things done, if you don't let things distract you, and a lot of times some requests from persons really are distractions. So before you even answer, right, the true lesson, as I said in this dialogue, is before you answer, give consideration to what is being asked of you. If you think it aligns with where you're going or things that you're doing and you can render assistance and you can help, then fine. But if it's not anywhere on the trajectory of what you're doing or what you're trying to accomplish, just say no. Because effectively, time management can help you balance, your commitments. Make it easy to decline new ones. So if we, when we set what it is that we have to do today, and someone coming there to you and asking you to do something that is going to take up your time, especially when they're demanding and asking of it, you have to say no. You have to say no. Because persons, let me tell you what's going to happen. Oh, people can find out who are nice guys. And boy, they see it as a weakness. They will take your kindness as a weakness. Man, you could waste some time for the benefit of others if you don't learn to say no. Then you got to be confident in what you're doing, in your decisions. Once you've made the decision to say no, stand by it. Don't let guilt or pressure change your mind. Remembering that saying no is a sign of self-respect. And it means preserving your well-being, your mental. You don't have to be stressed, man. You don't have to be stressed in trying to live up to something you know that from the start you weren't comfortable with, or you didn't feel like you could do it. Don't lose friendships, family ties, and conflicts with others, your colleagues, because you told them yes and you couldn't deliver. Don't allow, be upfront, straight. If you're able to do it, if you're able to help, yes, by all means. But they can talk about you if you don't succeed. So, you be better off just offering and declining the request if you're not comfortable with it. If it's going to extend you to the point that it's going to stress you, it's going to cause you to lose from what you're trying to do or the resources needed in time and money, and it's going to, if you're losing that, and just say no. Then after saying no, reflect on the experience. What did you learn from it? A lot of us never ask that question, You could be in a real situation. And I can tell you something, I can say something to the man out there. There are situations that easily the request will come to you in so many ways that it's packaged in such a glorious and splendor that it's hard to say no. But when we talking about reflecting, right? And a lot of us as men, this example, we would say that, boy, hey, if only I'd leave that alone. I could have saved so much. I could have done so much. So it doesn't only go toward our professional lives or our assisting persons or helping, but in our personal lives too. Women, there were some no's that you should have said. And this, what I'm speaking about, can just take in consideration not everything that looks or smells sweet should be accepted. So in your consideration, you have to really look under it. Really look at, is this really what I want? Is this aligning with my goals and what I have set out to achieve? Learn to say no can be challenging, but it's an essential skill for maintaining a healthy work life balance and ensuring that your commitments align with your goals and values. Remember that saying no doesn't mean you're unhelpful or unkind. It means you're taking control of your life and making choices that are best for you. That's the power. You are in control when you say no. You have the power to say no, just as easy as it is to say yes. And when you learn to say no and commit to the things that align with your values, with your goals, your dreams, you'll be less stressed, you'll feel better, and you're in control. You don't have to worry about no one calling you, man, what happened? You said you was going to do it and you didn't do that. Man, why you just didn't tell me you didn't have it? And then they go and spread your name and talk about you bad because you didn't deliver. This is what I'm talking about. As simple as it is, to really achieve what you want, learn to say no have to be a part of your vocabulary. It has. And I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you this from experience. The sooner you learn to say no, you take control of your life. You take control of being less stressed, being at ease and at peace, because you don't have to worry about the things that you have committed to that were unnecessary. In the last episode, Sir Franklin Wilson spoke about deferred gratification and the importance of practicing discipline to save toward achieving a home. He was speaking about just saying no. Learning to say no is the key. Saying no to the things that aren't necessary or things that you do not need that could distract you from achieving that which you want. Saying no to what you know you can deliver and know to what you know does not align with your value. Learning to say no is important to achieving success. You can begin today by just saying no.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. We hope you found it informative, inspiring, and motivating. Born to Achieve. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and family. Stay focused on your goals, and we'll see you on the next episode of Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve. Born to Achieve.